Happy Valentine's Day.
Hi, I'm Katya.
I'm Rin.
We're from the Commonwealth Center for Holistic Herbalism in Boston, Massachusetts. And
Where it's very snowy today,
yay!
and probably will be tomorrow, and one of these days is Valentine's Day. We're recording
Yes.
this a little bit early, but you forgive us, right?
So for Valentine's Day, in honor of Valentine's Day, we want to talk to you about roses.
That's this one.
But actually, not this one.
And that one also.
So rose is a really important medicinal plant, actually. And although these kind of roses are really beautiful and fantastic and great, and if they're pesticide free, you can actually eat them. The rose that we talk about when we talk about herbal medicine is the wild rose, so that 5-petaled rose, Rosa rugosa, or beach rose, or those kinds of, where you're just walking in the woods and you see wild brambles. That's the rose we're talking about.
Yeah, so there's a number of different species that go with that, but all of them are really wonderful and medicinal, and we can work with a number of different parts of the rose. We can work with the flowers, the rose petals. Those are a nice astringent. They can make a nice skin toner. You can use them.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you got something to say there?
Wait, you just did it, actually. So there was something we really wanted to bring up today, which was that word use. Our language is expletive when it comes down to it. And so when we talk about things, we usually say that we use them. And I don't like to think about plants that way. I like to think about being in relationship with plants and working with plants. And so I don't like to go tell my friends that Rin is really good for, whatever, and I can use him to make sure that our website looks great. Because while it is true that Rin keeps our website looking great, that's not what I use him for. And we don't talk that way about our friends and our partners and whatever. So I don't like to talk that way about my plant friends either. So we try to say that we can work with plants, or that plants are good at things, just like we would about people. The problem is that language is entrenched, and so it's really hard to remember that. And sometimes, even though this is important to us, sometimes we still say use as well. And so I think that's just a thing that is like a constant life thing to be thinking about, but especially around a time when we're thinking about love and relationships, we can be thinking about being in relationship with our plant friends too.
Yeah, it's hard. You're gonna
It's
hear
really-
hear us
yeah.
break that rule a lot. That's
Yeah.
fine.
But it's all right, because every time you hear us do it and you're like, hey, you said use, that's okay, because it comes up in your mind then, and it does the same thing for us too. So that's really good.
Yeah.
But rose petals are fantastic for the skin. I did want to say something about that.
Yeah. So if you were working with your own roses, then you can go ahead and you can just make tea out of the petals, and then once you let that cool, you can make a compress with that, like soak a cloth in it, and then just set that on your face for a little while, let it seep in. It'll like tone and tighten everything really nicely, gently. You can drink roses in your tea. Usually we don't use rose petal. We don't work with rose petals just alone in a tea, because they're a little bit bitter actually. When you drink them, they have the aromatic scent that smells really beautiful and lovely, but there's a little bitterness in there as well. So we'll often put them together in a formula with other things, maybe a little bit of spearmint, maybe some chamomile, and it depends on what you're going for, but they blend really nicely, and there's a great benefit we find to putting rose petals into people's tea, which is that when they drink it, they feel like somebody loves them and gave them flowers, and now they get to drink that right in, so that's really lovely and nice.
One of the great ways to think about rose internally is, I'm going to use another problematic word here, and that's going to be antidepressant. So that word has pharmaceutical meaning to us, and there are many herbs that have great effect in the nervous system and are really good for nurturing someone who's depressed. I just said it. They're really good at nurturing someone who's depressed, and rose is one of those, but it's not like an antidepressant pharmaceutically where you can just say, oh, I'm depressed, so I'll just take an antidepressant and then I'll feel better. Plants are, differentiated, just like your friends. So, if you're feeling really down, you might go hang out with a friend who's very bubbly and perky to get you up a little bit and get you feeling great. Whereas if you are kind of tired, you might not have a lot of energy to hang out with the bubbly friend because you're like, boy, I've been working all week and I actually just kind of want to sit and watch a movie and go to bed. So plants are the same way. And Rose is very good at the kind of depressed feelings or anxiety feelings or overwhelmed feelings that feel kind of like you're a fuzzy small animal who's being hunted by a hawk or a fox. And you know, if you feel like going into work, it feels like that, like maybe you hide in your office or hide in your cubicle and hope that nobody comes by and knocks on your door, then Rose might be just the friend for you. If you look at how Rose grows in the wild, it's very like an umbrella kind of a wild bramble. And if you really go find one and look into it, you'll see there's these tiny little trails through all the bramble, and they can be very thick bramble. There's all these little trails because all these tiny little furry creatures, little bunnies and squirrels and chipmunks and whatever, run in there, and the hawks and the foxes can't get them. So it really, like, physically in nature, this is a protection that Rose provides. And Rose will provide that protection for you too, which is really great.
Yeah, yeah. Those thorny remedies from this family, the rose family, they can usually provide that kind of feeling. So we get something similar with hawthorn when we work with that. And although hawthorn is a great and mighty tree, it's in the same family as rose, and so they have a lot of similarities. One way that you might like to work with rose for that application could be in an elixir, like this lovely wild rose elixir we got from King's Road from Rebecca Altman. But an elixir is a nice preparation to work with because it's easy to carry around, and you can just open it up and take a dropperful, which I'm going to indulge in right now, if you don't mind. So tincture or elixir in this case is a blend of a tincture, an alcohol extract of the rose petals itself, and then you mix in some honey. And a great idea would be to have that also be a rose infused honey.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to do and really, really lovely.
We have a big old rose bush outside of our kitchen window. And I love to go out when the roses are blooming and pick a jar full of petals and just pour honey right over it. And then the honey just soaks in all the rose goodness.
Aroma, yeah.
And then every time you open that jar of honey, it just smells like roses like you wouldn't believe. And that's also really excellent in tea. But you can take that honey, mix it together with rose tincture, and maybe some other friends in there like wood betony or tulsi, and you get a really delicious elixir, and I want some too.
Yeah. We have once or twice had occasion to work with rose root as well. Basically, that was times when somebody was digging up a rose bush and, you know, it was going to be lost anyway, so we went by and grabbed that and tinctured that, and that's a much stronger astringent. Mm-hmm. That's one you might apply in like a first aid situation even to try to pull things back together, or very prosaically, you might apply it to varicose veins or hemorrhoids or all kinds of fun things like that, I suppose. So anyway, rose root is also a useful remedy, and you can think about that as well.
The simplest way to get rose into your life, I have found, is with rose water just from the grocery store. I like to get a really nice one, but, you know, hopefully, you know, where they weren't using pesticides on the roses. But rose water, if you are too overwhelmed and too overworked and too whatever else to even make yourself a cup of tea, if you can just get warm water in a cup and pour a little bit of rose water in there, presto, the whole cup is rosy, and it's great. It doesn't take very much, just a little tiny spoonful. So that's a great way. And another way that I invite rose into my life every day is to take care of my skin. I use that exact same rose water from the grocery store. I put it in a little spray bottle in the bathroom, and when I get out of the shower, I spray rose water all over my face. Then I take a little bit of olive oil and rub it in, and presto, it's lotion. And I didn't even have to get my blender dirty. It's just like right there on my face. So that works really great too.
And then, of course, there's also the rose hips, right? So rose hips are
oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the fruit of the rose plant, and those are amazingly high in vitamin C. In fact, most commercial vitamin C supplements are actually derived from rose hips because they're much denser in vitamin C content than like a lemon or an orange or something. So rose hips are a great source for vitamin C that's available in the autumn and even in the wintertime. Sometimes you can go and find a bush and pluck some rose hips off of there. Of course, you can get them from your favorite herb supplier. And those are really fantastic. You know, I said vitamin C, but it's like a whole bioflavonoid complex and a lot of different synergistic antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds. So that's a really great thing to bring into your life regularly, especially if you have a greater than usual need for vitamin C. You're trying to support immunity, virility, collagen synthesis, all kinds of good things come with that. So, yeah.
So rose is awesome.
Rose is wonderful, and maybe you've got some around, and maybe they can be friends for you too. I don't know what the next holiday is.
We gotta look.
Didn't look at my list, but
well, we'll see you in a couple weeks. For the we mapped it all out, and it turns out there's a lot of holidays.
Yeah.
So we'll see you in a few weeks, and until then, happy Valentine's Day.
Have a rosy day.